Last week, narcotics were found in bags of flour distributed to Palestinians by US and Israeli aid centers. But why haven't you heard about that in US mainstream news? I'm David Ryan Barcega Castro Harris, all five names for all the ancestors, and this is Amplify RJ's Restorative Breakdown, where we analyze problems facing our world from a restorative justice framework centering human needs over punishment, disposability, and carceral logic. Fundamentally, a restorative process asks the questions: what happened, who is impacted and how, what needs must be addressed in order to make things as right as possible, and who's responsible for meeting those needs. In the mainstream, this framework was introduced as an alternative to the punitive criminal legal system, but if you think about restorative justice as a way of being, rooted in indigenous values of interconnections, it's applicable to all kinds of situations that we face in daily life. I'll pass it to Amplify RJ intern Kylie Chen to break down how restorative justice invites us as witnesses to the ongoing genocide in Gaza to shift from awareness into solidarity and meaningful action. Take it away, Kylie.
So what happened? Al Jazeera and other independent news outlets reported that Palestinian officials found oxycodone in bags of flour from US and Israeli-run aid distribution points. The details are still coming out, but Gaza's government media office holds Israel directly responsible. These findings also arise in the midst of an ongoing genocide, in which Israel has already weaponized and continues to weaponize aid against Palestinians. Since the aid centers began distribution in May, Israeli soldiers have killed hundreds and injured thousands of Palestinians waiting in line. At its core, this situation is a problem of empire. America actively enables Israel's genocidal project in the interest of dominating the Middle East and maintaining access to the region's oil supply. American mainstream media's coverage, or lack of coverage, manufactures consent for American imperialism here at home, crafting narratives that dehumanize Palestinians and justify these atrocities. Who is impacted and how? Most importantly and most immediately, Palestinians who are desperately in need of humanitarian aid, who already fear for their lives as they stand in line for aid, who now must also worry about whether that aid will harm them, whose suffering goes ignored and justified by American mainstream media. Israeli soldiers and settlers who actively participate in the genocide and occupation are also affected. Many Israeli occupying force soldiers may be simply following orders, but at what cost? What must be sacrificed to partake in and even take pride in endless, merciless killing? Your psychological well-being? Your moral conscience? Your humanity? As Americans, we too are impacted. Our tax dollars fund these atrocities when they should be being used to improve our living conditions at home. Yet legacy media outlets like CNN and the New York Times, organizations we trust to keep us informed, present us with a sanitized version of reality. From their use of passive voice to describe Palestinian deaths and dehumanizing rhetoric, to circulating false narratives told by Israeli and American government officials. These news organizations have constantly downplayed Israel's violence and shifted responsibility onto Palestinians. They have prioritized the agendas of their corporate shareholders, who have a vested interest in furthering America's global dominance and Israel's genocide, over the truth that they claim to uphold. What needs must be met, and who is responsible for meeting those needs? First and foremost, stop putting drugs into humanitarian aid. But it doesn't end there. Trump and Netanyahu must end the genocide and the occupation. Trump and Congress must stop sending billions of dollars worth of weapons and other military equipment to Israel. Mainstream media outlets need to provide accurate coverage and stop playing defense for American imperial interests and Israel's actions. And Israel must stop targeting Palestinian journalists and allow foreign journalists into Gaza. And we, as individuals, as Americans funding these atrocities, have a responsibility to do something, no matter how small. Call your elected officials, critically consume mainstream media, and demand better from these organizations, but also go support independent journalists, financially or by engaging with their work. If you have capacity, go out and protest. And most of all, keep talking about what is happening. Don't let these atrocities continue to go unseen and unheard, even within your friend circles. And remember that silence is complicity. Silence serves the status quo. And while these small actions won't take down the whole system, they are the first step that we can make toward making meaningful change.
Thank you so much, Kylie. We aren't impacted in the same way as those directly experiencing this violence, but we are connected. As people living within systems of empire, state violence, and global exploitation, we have a role to play. The restorative justice framework helps us move through the overwhelm, the grief, the anger, or the numbness by grounding us in a structured way to respond. We ask what happened, we look at the root causes, we name who's impacted and how, and most importantly, we focus on those needs and take action to meet them to the extent possible. When we approach harm this way, whether it's global crisis like Gaza or conflict in our daily lives, we stay rooted in humanity instead of getting lost in punishment, blame, or helplessness. No, our individual actions probably won't stop Netanyahu or Trump or the fast-fading American empire overnight, but that doesn't absolve us of responsibility. Your voice and your actions chip away at the systems that rely on silence, complicity, and apathy. Thanks for tuning in for this restorative breakdown. Please like the video so we don't get shadow banned, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Until next time, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease, and may you work for a world where that can be true for everyone. Peace.